You've got to love being in a place like this. We are in the beautiful Brookwood Trout Farm, and we're out of the city, we're in nature, it's calm and it's peaceful. It makes you realize just why we love a getaway so much. But the thing about a getaway is that it's not just about where we're going, but it's about the journey and how we get there. And how I got here was with the new Land Rover Discovery. The Discovery has always been a fan favorite amongst adventure lovers, but quite recently, its newest sibling, the Defender, has been stealing some of its limelight. But hopefully that is going to change quite soon, as Land Rover has applied a host of updates to this vehicle, and those updates will potentially help people rediscover their love for this SUV. The first thing you'll notice on the outside of the vehicle is that there's a new front bumper, and the LED lights have been revised both front and rear. And overall, the car really looks nice and modern from an outside perspective. But right now where we're sitting on the inside is where you can see all the major changes. Climbing inside the vehicle, you'll notice that there's a brand new infotainment system, the Pivi Pro setup that we've seen in the Land Rover Defender. And I'm quite a fan of the system because it's quite easy to use and it features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You'll also notice that the screen is absolutely huge at 11.4 inches and the resolution is very good as well. There's also a whole new climate control setup where you can push and pull the switches, and overall it makes the car look more modern. There's also a new steering wheel, and because this car has got the R Dynamic package, it's got this lovely two-tone leather that is equipped on the vehicle. Now we all know that a Discovery is very capable off-road. Even now I'm driving on a gravel type of road and the car is essentially looking at me like, you can do better than this. You can do better than this. But today we want to focus most of our attention on normal road driving because that is where a car like this is going to spend most of its time. At times when you drive a vehicle that is very good off-road, it tends to compromise how the car feels on-road. With this vehicle, it's a nice blend between the best of both worlds. Now, we are in the top of the range HSE spec, which does mean that this car is not cheap, but with that, you do get a nice host of options that make your driving experience that much more luxurious. For instance, I have got a lovely Meridian sound system that really adds some punch to your tunes, and as well, I've got a host of technology features that increase the safety of this vehicle. For instance, I've got adaptive cruise control, I've got high beam assist, I've got clear view ground side cameras, which also make your life quite easy when you're parking the vehicle or when you want to see what's going on underneath the vehicle as well, which is quite a nifty thing to have, especially when you're going off-road. With this vehicle, Land Rover has focused a lot on the heart and soul of this car, which is the engine. We now have two engines on offer, which simplifies the offering from Land Rover. You've got a diesel that you can choose from, and as well you've got a petrol. We are in the diesel, which features an inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 221 kilowatts and 650 Newton meters, which is a lot for a car such as this. Whether you're driving fast or you're driving slow, whether you're cruising, whatever you're doing, I really like how this engine responds because it literally feels like an engine that wants to go all the time. There's something about an SUV when it's mated to the right diesel. It gives it a completely different feel because torque becomes your best friend. In a car like this that's quite big, if you need to overtake, you need to be able to respond accordingly, and the vehicle needs to respond as well. And I love the fact that because it's a 6-cylinder, it also doesn't sound rough. It sounds premium. It sounds like an expensive car. Not taking away anything from 4-cylinder diesels, but a 6-cylinder or an 8-cylinder diesel really gives the car a different persona. And for this car, it really feels quite luxurious. So you get the sense that this is a vehicle that you can spend many hours in, many hours going on holiday or even stuck in traffic. But overall, it's a car that you can feel quite at home with because it's a car that is meant for families. And I like that about it. It feels very honest. It kind of takes you back to the time where SUVs were meant to be just SUVs. After spending the day with the new Land Rover Discovery, I must say that I'm quite chuffed that I got to review this car, because even I had forgotten how capable it is on the road. The changes to this vehicle have really modernized it, namely the engine and the infotainment system. And you can really understand why many consumers choose this car over the competition. At the end of the day, we cannot run away from the fact that this car costs approximately 1.5 million rand. But if you look at SUVs as a whole, many of them are very expensive. So considering all of that, you can justify this price tag because you do get a lot of car for that money.